And why?
Because it will destroy the valley, because it will destroy the beautiful, pristine ecosystem that is the Valbona Valley. I have not been there, but some of the people here have been there. We have a very dear friend who lives there and who is organizing
Yeah, I saw them today.
protests.
They did have in Tirana.
Tirana, yeah. And she knew that the Prime Minister was going to be here, and she asked us if we would come and stand and make a statement.
Are you
here.
doing just this, or are you going to do any petition to him, or are you moving to a second step, or?
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I mean, we'd like
luck.
to be in solidarity with the people in Albania who are opposed to this. I mean, we've also been told that it's been a very corrupt project, that that it has not proceeded according to the correct laws that
procedures
are procedures that are supposed to protect the environment, to protect the people who live there. So we understand that that has also been a very serious issue, and that people in Albania are very upset about that. So.
Keni ndonjë mesazh tjetër? Is everybody American here? Any Albanians?
Yes. Unë jam shqiptar.
Çka?
Unë jam nga Traboja.
Po mirë, është kjo vepër e kësaj qeverie apo e sistemin tërësi apo si? Se me çka e di, si mas informacioneve që kam, shkatrimi i Valbones edhe i gjithë mirave tona nuk ka fillu me Edi Ramën, po
Ka fillu me Edi Ramën, po Edi Rama mund të ndaloj. Siç ndryshoi ligjin për plerat, mund ta ndryshojë edhe këtë, krejtë thjesht. Nuk është e vërtetë ajo që thonë se qeveria sot mund të helli poshtë vendimet e qeverisë paraardhëse, sepse e ka bën konkretisht. Këtë e ka bën në rastin e plerave. Dy ditë pas e ka ardhur pushtet. Kështu që ta bëj edhe këtë. Ka në fundit kjo është e mirë përgjithshme, nuk ka rëndësi cila qeveri apo prej cilis bëhet apo për cilet bëhet. Mjafton që të bëhet më e mirë. Shqipëria është e jona, është vend i vogël që duhet ta shpëtojmë.
Okej, do të thotë nuk ka prapasken politike, vetëm
Po puna është ne kemi për plasë njëse edhe më të tjerë, po për këtë gjë.
It is with great honor that I get to open this remarkable ceremony. Nothing fills me with more pride and joy than to talk about and celebrate our Albanian heritage, who we are, what we stand for, exemplify as a country, values we embody, and the progress we have made in the last 25 years, which I have no doubt is the same pride and passion why you all are here tonight. In a world of tumultuous terror attacks across the world and homegrown hateful rhetoric against religion, tonight we go back to World War II to remind the world that Albania, a small country in the Balkans, comprised of Muslims and Christians, took it upon them to save Jewish refugees trying to escape one of the most horrific genocides of the century, just with a simple promise, Besa. Our story, my friends, is that of compassion, commitment, loyalty, unity, and religious harmony, which to this day is still very much alive amongst our community and back home. Only recently, a CNN contributor published an article, "A Muslim country that loves America," referred to us as a model of interreligious coexistence. So tonight we honor and remember these acts and hope for the rest of the world to emulate this same religious tolerance, human response, and kindness when found amid differences with one another.
Yes.
Now, I would like all of us to take a minute of silence as I invite up here Ergin Oda, baritone. He's going to sing the American National Anthem, followed by Dashira Kurliu, soprano, who's going to sing the Albanian National Anthem. So please give it a round of applause for these guys.
Can't you see by the dawn early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, see, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. God bless America and thanks for humanity.
Mori të përbashkuar për një dëshirë dhe një qëllim, të gjitha tje duke u betuar, të lidhin besën për shpëtim. Prej lufteve qaj largohet, që është i lindur trallëtor. Kush është burë nuk friksohet, por vdes e një dëshmor. Prej lufteve qaj largohet, që është i lindur trallëtor. Kush është burë nuk frikohet, por vdes e një dëshmor. Në dorë armët do t'i mbajmë, të mbrojmë atë dheu në çdo kënd, të drejta tona ne si ndajmë, se këtu armiqtë s'kanë më vend. Prej lufteve qaj largohet, që është i lindur
event, I would like to introduce our Masters of Ceremony, a very much self-professed champion of the Albanian American causes. If you've noticed, he's usually in every Albanian event. Please help me give a warm welcome to Ilir Fundo.
Welcome everyone to this event hosted by New York State Attorney General Erik Shnajdermen. Thank you, Attorney. And New York State Assembly Member Mark Gjonaj. Thank you, Assembly Member. In recognizing the role of Albanians in sheltering Jewish refugees during the Holocaust, we are honored to have with us today as keynote speaker His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic of Albania, Edi Rama. Prime Minister, welcome to New York and welcome to the United States. It is truly a privilege to welcome you all to the Jewish Museum of Heritage. We are thankful to the museum for enabling us to host this event. I would like to recognize some of the distinguished guests we have here with us tonight. Councilman Mark Levin, the chair of the New York City Council Jewish Caucus. Minister of Foreign Affairs in Albania, Ditmir Bushati. Ambassador of Albania to the United States, Floreta Faber. Former Ambassador of Albania to the United Nations, Ferit Hoxha. Council of the Republic of Kosovo, Ylber Kreziu. And our very own Honorary Council of the Republic of Albania in New York, Sal Rusi. Allow me to thank the entire Rusi family for fully sponsoring this event. Their patriotism and generosity for the Albanian causes is much appreciated. Let's give them a good round of applause. We are honored to have with us tonight religious leaders, such as Rabbi Joseph Potasnik from the New York Board of Rabbis, Imam Dr. Tahir Kukaj from the Albanian Islamic Culture Center, Father Peter Popaj from Our Lady of Shkodra Catholic Church, and Father Nathan Preston from the St. Nicholas Albanian Orthodox Church. Albanians are well known for their religious acceptance and respect, which is best expressed by their harmony between religions, and it's clearly shown in the movie Besa the Promise that will follow in the second part of the program. We are pleased to have in attendance Mr. Abraham Foxman, thank you, the former National Director of the Anti-Defamation League for almost 30 years. He will share with us his remarks on the second part of the program. I also would like to acknowledge some of the people that deserve special thanks for making this event a reality. Starting with the entire office of Assemblyman Mark Gjonaj, Alison Spindel and Lilian Perez from the New York State Attorney General's Office, Mylinda Myrto from Besa the Promise Project, Eridana Chano from the Prime Minister's Office, and Ambassador Floreta Faber and Ferit Hoxha. Thank you. We are thrilled to host Prime Minister Edi Rama and his entire delegation this evening. We are excited to hear the latest development from Albania and to learn some concrete ideas on how to best move forward. All of us here in this room remain engaged in our homeland's developments. A lot of things have taken place, and we are thankful. But it's not enough. Altogether, we must accomplish a lot more. Diaspora is vast and resourceful, and it's ready to help in many different ways. Albanians have many great friends here in the United States who are interested in the future of Albania. Prime Minister, we wish you great success during your visit in New York and in the United States. We wish you best of luck leading the country towards a better future. Thank you. The next speaker doesn't need much introduction. He is our very own New York Assembly member, Mark Gjonaj. He is the first and only Albanian American elected official in New York. Mark serves in New York State Assembly since 2013, representing New York 80th District in the Bronx, a heavily populated Albanian neighborhood such as Morris Park and Pelham Parkway. He attends every single Albanian event and is known for his famous phrase, "You can only get from a community what you put into it." Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Assembly Member Mark Gjonaj.
Mirë mbrëma, komuniteti shqiptar. The room has never looked so beautiful as it has tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Ilir Fundo, for that wonderful introduction. I welcome His Excellency, Prime Minister Edi Rama, to the United States and to New York City. Thank you for being here today. No jet lag could stop him from sharing some time with all of you this evening. I welcome and thank all of you for helping make this event successful at the spectacular Museum for Jewish Heritage. This event was the brainchild of my dear friend and colleague in government, New York State Attorney Erik Shnajdermen. When he learned about a small country in a distant corner of Europe and the story about Albanian Muslims and Christians who risked their own lives and the lives of their families to save every Jewish person in Albania. For the last year or so, the Attorney General has been encouraging me to hold such an event, and tonight, with all of you here, it's come to fruition. So give all of yourselves a round of applause. A country where almost 200 Jews lived before the beginning of World War II, and approximately 2,000 at the end of World War II, where throughout Europe the whispers of desperate Jews escaping terror could be heard telling each other, if you make it to Albania, you will be saved. For this act of heroism, I thank every Albanian, as they all have a connection somehow, somewhere, and with someone who saved a Jew and ensured that Albania was the only country in Europe where not a single Jewish life was lost or handed to the enemy. These selfless acts were inspired by a set of beliefs known to Albanians as pjese. Pjese, a promise, is a sacred word. Its meaning has been transmitted orally from generation to generation for millennium, advocating and promoting justice for all humankind. Pjese predates any religious beliefs and has governed the lives of Albanians ever since. According to pjese, someone's house belongs to God and the guest. If someone, even your enemy, knocks on your door at any time or day or night, seeking shelter in your home, you are obligated to welcome, protect, and honor him to the fullest. It is these sets of beliefs that compelled the Albanians to refuse to hand over the list of names and addresses of Jews in Albania. Albanians hid their Jewish guests amongst themselves when very few people in Europe did so. It is the same distinctive traditions and code which emphasize hospitality, generosity, courage, boldness, and valor. Something that no doubt has influenced the most famous Albanians of all, Mother Teresa and Gjesh Kastrioti Skanderbeg. Each day I learn something new from my Albanian community. And the lesson learned from this event was one that I won't forget. Albanians don't understand ASAP or RSVP. But they all understand VIP. I am truly blessed and honored not only to be the assemblyman for the 80th Assembly District and representing nearly 126,000 residents, but I am honored to be a representative of Albanians in New York and throughout the country and throughout the world. In closing, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to be here tonight. I thank the Attorney General, who will address us shortly, and the Prime Minister for joining us this evening. I ask the Prime Minister to strive to make our homeland better and prosperous for all, putting the interest of the people first, fighting corruption, reforming the judicial system, and someday allowing the diaspora to vote in future elections. I publicly acknowledge the Albanian community on their achievements and contributions to the United States and their homelands, and end with quoting the Israeli Prime Minister, Shimon Peres, who said, "Geography divides us, but history unites us." Ironically, today, that quote applies to Albanians more than ever. Our history, culture, traditions, and language unite us, even though we're known as Albanians from Albania, Montenegro, Kosovo, Macedonia, and Preševa. For the sake of our people, our homelands, our heritage, and generations to come, I encourage you to remove walls, build bridges, never forget your history and where you came from, and continue to make the world a better place for all. God bless you, God bless America, God bless Albania and Kosovo, and all Albanians throughout the world. Now it's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you and welcome to the stage my friend and my colleague, your friend and your representative in New York State, the Attorney General, Erik Shnajdermen. He serves as the 65th New York Attorney General since January 2011. Prior to becoming Attorney General, Mr. Shnajdermen served as a New York State Senator for 12 years, representing Manhattan's Upper West Side. Prior to that, he held several positions, such as Deputy Sheriff Clerk for the U.S. District Court, partner at a law firm, and a public interest lawyer. During his career, Attorney Shnajdermen has successfully prosecuted many high-profile cases, something that Albanian prosecutors should learn to do in the months and years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome State Attorney General Erik Shnajdermen.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much. This is a very moving experience for me, and I've done events here at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, a beautiful place as you can see, but it's very special tonight to be able to do an event to celebrate and honor our friends, and to make sure that a story that very few people know about in the Jewish community is told and told again and again. Some of our dignitaries have been acknowledged. We're also joined by Council Member David Greenfield, another distinguished colleague in government. And I want to thank the museum, the acting director, Alicia Shine, for hosting us in this beautiful room tonight and all the good work they do. And along with the 250,000 Albanian Americans who live in New York State, I am honored that we have Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama here with us tonight. Thank you, Your Excellency. And Mark Gjonaj is, there's not enough I can say about Mark. Mark is the driving force behind this event. This is really something that he made happen, he made sure happen, and he united the community behind it. And I am here to say, on behalf of our community, thank you for being here, and Mark, thank you for bringing our communities together. So, I'm here through just remarkable circumstances, but I don't believe in coincidences, so I think this was something that was meant to be. I ran into Mark, and he was actually, we were both leaving the state capitol in Albany, and he was with President Nishani outside the Capitol, and he said, Attorney General, this is the President of Albania. I thought, this is pretty random. I'm leaving the state capitol to get into my car, and here's the President of Albania. But then I knew that this was something that meant that Mark and I were going to have to work together on this, because 3 days later, at Friday night services in my synagogue, there was Mark again with the President of Albania, and they were there to receive a gift, because there were members of my synagogue whose families had been rescued by Albanians, and they wanted the President to be there to accept a gift, an expression of gratitude. And honestly, before that week, I really didn't know of the incredible story of the valor and the selflessness and the courage of the Albanian people during the Holocaust, putting their own lives at risk to save not only Albanian Jews, but Jewish refugees from other European countries as well. I've come to understand the concept of pjese, the quintessentially Albanian idea that a promise given is a promise kept. This is very close to one of the most central tenets of Judaism. We live based on a covenant, we live based on a promise. And as one of the men featured in the film that's going to be screened later this evening says, for Albanians, and this is his quote, when something is requested, it becomes an obligation. Pjese is a promised oath. And reading and learning of this history now, and I thank Mark for opening my eyes to this, it's important to understand how much pressure Albania had to withstand what was going on in Europe during World War II, how brutal and efficient the Holocaust was. 90% of Poland's Jews were killed. 88% of Germany's Jews were killed. 77% of Greece's Jews were killed. And many countries not only acquiesced in the Nazis' racial policies, but actually collaborated with them to terrorize and murder their Jewish citizens. Groups like the Iron Guard in Romania and the Arrow Cross in Hungary, collaborators in Lithuania and Latvia, many people chose to work with the Nazis, work with the German SS to kill off hundreds of Jews. But because of pjese in Albania, there was a country that was different, that stood out from all the rest. The sense of obligation to provide shelter, to protect those in need of protection, made Albania different. And families were sheltered This was part of all of society, I've come to learn, all levels of society. Individuals sheltered Jews in their homes. Local government officials helped Jews actually obtain and sometimes even forge travel documents so that they could escape to Allied territory. And the country's interior minister refused to provide the Nazis with the lists of Albanian Jews in spite of repeated demands. So the truly heroic acts of the Albanian people saved the Jews who lived in Albania, and it's remarkable. Of all the countries in Europe, Albania ended the war with more Jews than it started with. That is an extraordinary. So when I saw Mark and I realized that there was this story to be told, I had a wonderful experience here with the Museum of Jewish Heritage a number of years ago to tell another little-known story. In this case, it was about the Dominican Republic, which also served as a refuge for Jews, and this is a very little-known story. In World War II, the Dominicans set aside land in a place called Sosua, and at a time when great powers, including the United States, was saying, we will not take the Jews trying to get out of Europe, the Dominican Republic opened its doors to Jews. We did a beautiful program here to celebrate that, and when I talked to Mark and I learned of the amazing accomplishments of the Albanians, I said, we've got to do this for the Albanian community too. We've got to bring our communities together to celebrate this shared heritage. Through the work with the Museum of Jewish Heritage, through the film we're about to see tonight, through us all just being here together, we refuse to let these stories disappear. We are choosing to see our shared history, our common dignity, our universal compassion, and be reminded that there may come a time when, as Jews, we need to step up and protect and help our Albanian brothers and sisters. By we are choosing to remember this story tonight, we are ensuring that future generations will remember this history. And as Jews, we are promising that we never forget our friends. So, this is a beautiful evening. It's an emotional evening. I thank all of you, and I thank you for being here to ensure that this wonderful story and the bond between our peoples is remembered, is celebrated, and that here in New York, the city of immigrants, the city where we all come together in the joint project to make our collective lives better, Albanians and Jews work together with an understanding that we have a bond that is tremendously deep and that we will never give up. Thank you very much.
Now, Attorney General, we're glad that you brought up that the Jewish community doesn't forget, because Albanians don't forget promises. And we're going to remind you that someday we're going to collect, and I think the Jewish community could start by recognizing Kosovo's independence. Now, if I can continue to have your attention, and you guys are behaving tonight extremely well. Give yourselves a round of applause. You behaved. But the night's not over yet, so. We have so many friends, and over the years we've made so many relationships. The next person that I'm going to bring up here, Councilmember Mark Levine, is New York City Council member representing the 7th District in Northern Manhattan. He chairs the City Council's Committee on Parks. From the other B borough, our dear friend, Borough President of Brooklyn, Eric Adams.
We want to welcome the Prime Minister here. As you see, he and I go to the same barbershop, you know? Let me say this, the rich spirit and energy of the Albanian community, and Mark being the first Albanian to be elected to state office in New York State, The other day I was at an event and I met members of the New York City Police Department, an Albanian organization that have come together to deal with public safety. There's something special when you wear a bulletproof vest and stand on street corners and protect children and families. You send a strong message to the country that you have embraced, that you too want to be part of that dream. The beauty of America is that you could adopt your new home and don't have to abandon your homeland. Don't have to abandon your homeland.
On behalf of you and the Attorney General, I'd like to welcome tonight's keynote speaker, the Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama. His remarks will be on building bridges between Albanian diaspora and its homeland. His Excellency Edi Rama has been Prime Minister of Albania since 2013. Prior to that, from 1998 to 2000, he served in the government as Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports. And he was the Mayor of Tirana from the year 2000 to 2011. He had a very successful career as mayor and was named the World Mayor in 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Prime Minister of Albania, Edi Rama, with a round of warm applause.
Same barber, different heads. Dear Attorney General, dear Mark, dear Sal, dear fellow compatriots and friends, I'm really happy to be with you tonight, and thank you for being here and for receiving me. On my way to Washington, on an official visit to meet with President Obama and Vice President Bajden, I could not but stop here first to have the opportunity and the honor to meet with all of you. I'm particularly pleased, and for this I must thank wholeheartedly the Attorney General, Mark and Sal, as well as everyone who has worked for making this event happen in this very place, Museum of Jewish Heritage. This venue has a very deep significance and resonates the very profound bond we Albanians have with the Jewish people. Previous speakers mentioned key moments of the Albanian story of saving the Jews during Holocaust. I could dwell for hours on many little stories within the big story of how during those dark days for humanity, poor people from everywhere in Albania risked their life to save others, strangers, human beings in need. They never claimed anything for what they did. I guess everything I can say, we all can say, falls short of the powerful messages the photo exhibition and the movie Besa, The Promise convey. One of the most renowned US movie critic houses, Roger Ebert, has written a few days ago that Besa, The Promise reveals the courage and generosity of Albanians and asks the rest of the world why not embrace Besa. I could not agree more. With Besa, the world, this world, would be a better place. Dear friends, a few weeks ago we celebrated the 25th year of re-establishment of diplomatic relations with the United States. Secretary Kerry visited Tirana in February and kick-started celebrations. We Albanians nurture a profound sense of gratitude to the United States. It has been forged in our deep historic ties, which go back to the birth of modern Albania at the beginning of last century. Our special connection has further strengthened through the long years of our democratic transition. It has further intensified with joint efforts to build our free society, strengthen the rule of law, but also in our journey in Iraq, in Afghanistan, on setting Kosovo free, and our close cooperation on common security-related actions and challenges. All this has led to the highest ever level of bilateral relations, the strategic partnership we signed last year. We are and remain eager to continue to build on this exceptional record to the benefit of our countries and nations. Dear fellow compatriots, last December we celebrated a quarter of a century of democratic change in Albania. History has been particularly harsh to our nation. We have endured everything: centuries of foreign domination, wars we did not choose to fight, arbitrary decisions by others more powerful than us, and one of the most brutal and absurd dictatorships in Europe. Yet, a strong nation with a particularly rich heritage, we have been resilient and have worked hard to find our place. In a quarter of a century, we have done more than ever since we Albanians exist. Here we are. Today, Albania has thoroughly transformed. Our GDP has increased 14 times compared to 1991. Albania is today an anchor of stability in the Balkans, a member of NATO alongside with the US and other friends and partners, a candidate for accession to the European Union, but more than anything, an ever stronger democracy, a free society with an admirable social cohesion, an oasis of respect among different faiths, something the whole world rightly admires. And on the other hand, I like to say and to repeat that we Albanians, we have never been better before. Not only in Albania, but also out of Albania, with another Albanian state, Kosovo, free, independent, and in its own. And I very much wish that, however the history will be written, nobody among the diaspora here in the United States will be forgotten for what has done to make sure that the dream that seemed to be an utopia became true, helping for the freedom and independence of Kosovo. And I'm sure I don't exaggerate if I say that without the Albanian American diaspora, this dream would have been much more difficult, if not impossible, to be achieved. Everything we have done and achieved is first a fruit of our commitment, of our efforts, our determination and energy. But we would not be here if it weren't for the strong and continued help and support from the United States of America. It must also be said, we would not be here if it weren't for the contribution of our strong Albanian American community, either in helping their families back home, in strengthening the relations of Albania with the United States, or in helping the US officials to better understand realities in our region, in our part of the world. Every US representative that has come to Albania speaks with praise and respect for the Albanian American community, and this makes us all very, very proud. A big thank you to all of you for every one of us. Yet I am convinced we can do more and we can do better. I am pleased to announce here for the first time that in November this year, we will organize the first ever summit of the Albanian diaspora in Tirana. Work is underway, and very soon details for participation and registration will be made public. Our bitter and divisive past, the decade-long miscommunication, the rush to discover the world and the transition hardship in rebuilding our home have kept us rather apart. Not anymore. The summit will be a major event where the government and other national stakeholders will engage and discuss with the Albanian diaspora representatives from every corner of the world, over 50 countries, on concrete ways how we can strengthen our ties and cooperate with one another. First and foremost, how we can build as many as possible bridges of knowledge, because knowledge is the most precious thing Albania can be taught from all of you here and from all Albanians all over the world. It will be a gathering without any distinction on who we are, where we come from, in what we believe or what party we prefer. It will be a meeting animated by the desire to finally get together around ideas, concrete steps, action plans, and guided by the need to build the missing bridge between us, Albanians abroad, and the homeland. It will be the moment to show that we can live in different parts of the world, but continue not only to feel, but also to act as one. We can be dispersed in various countries, but always united around our values, our principles, our cultural and spiritual determination, our language and belonging, our unique Albanian identity. It will be the moment to discuss and hopefully agree on ways and means to structure cooperation by setting up mechanisms to work and implement projects that allow us all to be complementary, starting from making sure that all people in Albania knows the role models, knows the heroes of the Albanian diaspora in terms of the everyday work, of the everyday achievements, of the everyday success. Back home, our joint efforts can maximize progress and prosperity also by increased trade and economic links. In diaspora, we can do much more in preserving our language, in displaying our colors and image, preserving and developing our identity, offering better services through our consular networks, work with other governments in preserving individual and community rights. The summit of November will be the moment to demonstrate that we are now able and mature enough to do more and aim higher. Dear friends, let me conclude by making a specific point. I mentioned the significance of this meeting together with our American Jewish friends in this very particular venue. There is yet another aspect I wish to highlight. This blessed country, called the United States of America, has in its foundations three main pillars: freedom, the American dream, and the equality before the law. These fundamental aspects make it possible for everyone to use their talents and skills individually, but also in community. I think we agree that no other community in the United States has been more successful and organized than the American Jewish, to defend their cause, to promote what they believe in, and in this way help themselves thrive in this country, but also help their motherland, Israel. I'm fully convinced that we have a lot to learn from them, especially in what makes them as successful, organized as they are, which is when what is in common to all is at stake, we are all one and united. This is what our Summit of Diaspora will be about. That Albania belongs to all of us. It needs everyone's contribution and is ready to offer the best service, help, and assistance to everyone. Thank you again for this warm welcome, and I look forward to meeting, discussing, and agreeing with many of you in November in Tirana. So you are most welcome, and we very much hope that you'll help us to organize this summit and make it a real big first step towards a new era of communication and cooperation between all Albanians abroad and our motherland, Albania. Thank you very much. And out of the regular speech, I want to add a simple detail. I was in Israel a few months ago, and I had the big opportunity to meet all the big guys, but also had an important opportunity to look around. And believe me, Jewish people can be as messy as we Albanians are. So they look different because they know to make a little difference, which make big the difference between them and us. They never miss the point when it comes to their common cause, to their common identity, and to fight together against whoever threatens it. But in the same time, we can do the same, because when you look to them, once the big point is made, believe me, they are as messy as we are. They are as much as us able to fight with each other. The difference is made that they never fight about the big things. They fight about their small things, right? So it's another thing we can share together, Attorney General, and I'm sure in that we can exchange a lot of experiences. Thank you.
Let's give the Prime Minister a round of applause. Let's give the Attorney General a round of applause and our Councilman and Borough President.